All right, welcome to Minuteman Theory. I am Brad.
And I'm Ian.
And today we're talking about something really exciting. We are talking about physical security and specifically locks and picking locks and defeating locks. This is actually something that Ian requested, and so this is something that I really enjoy doing.
So, in my career or my tenure in law enforcement, I've had guys tell me, hey, you need to learn how to pick locks, you need to learn how to pick locks, you need to learn how to pick locks. I've been like, oh, okay. I never actually knew where to get, kind of learn some things. And so Brad had told me that he has some experience. He's got a lot of experience. So I'm like, hey, man, teach me. I want to learn. Full disclosure, if you do this to do anything illegal, that's on you, okay? We're not by any means telling you to go out and do anything illegal, but it's just...
Just quick disclaimer is we're not liable for anything you choose to do with this information, and we are going to be showing some techniques that are used by actual bad guys to do actual bad things, but it's important, like we've said before, that this dangerous information is in the hands of good people.
Absolutely. So,
all right.
Don't be stupid.
All right. So, Ian, you've been in law enforcement for quite a while.
I have.
So I have a bunch of tools laid out here. I want to see how many of these you know what they are.
Okay. So I know that this is kind of this is for getting behind locks, like, the side piece, or it's kind of, locks are usually at a bevel, so that's for getting behind it, kind of wrenching it out and unlocking it that way. So when you can't actually turn the handle.
Do you know what it's called?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called.
It's called a shove knife.
Shove knife. Okay.
Yep. And that's actually one that I made.
Okay. Credit cards. I know you can also use credit cards for crappy locks, but for stuff with a little bit of tension, you're gonna need something like this.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could find a use for this, but I don't know what it's called. But I know that these. Let's see here. I'm going to say that this is a tensioner right here. I'm going to say because it hooks in, you can kind of put tension on the lock a little bit. And then this is for actually messing with the rollers, or the, what do you call those?
The pins?
Yes, the pins. Am I close?
These are just like picks. Like, this is an awl.
Yes.
Like you'd buy at the hardware store.
Yeah.
This is just a pick you'd buy at the hardware store. I'll show you what those are for later.
Okay.
These are just different styles of lock picks.
Okay.
These are the tensioners. So you had the right idea.
Okay.
Sounds like you kind of know how locks are picked.
Very, very, very small amount, but yes, I have kind of, I've talked to people about it and been interested in it. Okay, so then let's see here. It's all kind of the same. These are just the actual picks, right?
Mm-hmm. Those are just more picks.
More picks and then tensioner. I 100% without a doubt know that this is a Slim Jim. This is for getting into car doors.
Okay.
Well aware of this.
I figured you'd know what that was.
But, so, here's the other thing I noticed that you don't have for car doors. Is a series of wedges and one of the little blood pressure cuff things.
Actually, here, hold this for a second.
Okay.
I actually do have that.
Ah, there you go. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So, I know the theory behind this. So, let's say you have a car door. What you'll do is you'll get the Slim Jim in and just open the door a little bit, and then you'll take your wedges, your plastic wedges, and smack them into the door. I know because I actually didn't break in, but I unlocked car doors. That was one of the jobs we did in Ponderay. Was if you were the registered owner and you had a kid stay stuck in your car, I've broken into cars with kids. But yeah, so you get the wedges in, then you use the airbag and you pump it out, and then you get in with the Slim Jim and or a hanger or whatever, try to unlock it that way.
Actually, I don't know where it is, but I forget what it's called. It's got a specific name. It's basically a long strip of flexible plastic with string on it.
Okay.
Kind of strung through holes.
Oh, and you could pull up for the lock.
Yeah. So you take the airbag like this.
Yes.
And you get it in between the door and the frame of the car, and you pump it up, and then that gives you a little space, and then you slip that guy down in there. I wish I knew where it was. You slip it down in there, and then you can get that string around the lock and pull up on it. Now,
Yes.
that doesn't work on a lot of modern cars because I think that one's yours. Doesn't work on a lot of modern cars because they don't have that style of lock anymore. And that's the same with the Slim Jim. A Slim Jim does not work on modern cars.
Really?
Yes, because the whole idea of a Slim Jim, and maybe if there's enough light, we can go out to the blue truck and use the Slim Jim on the blue truck. But the whole idea of the Slim Jim is you go down and there's a bar that connects to a cam that connects to the lock, and you stick this down in here and catch that bar and unlock it. Modern cars, starting in like the 80s, have special boxes around their locking mechanisms, so you can't use a Slim Jim.
Okay.
Because these became so popular and they were dirt cheap, so criminals would get a hold of them a lot.
So let me ask you. I've seen videos on the internet of people using tennis balls to unlock doors.
That's fake. That's totally fake.
Totally fake.
That's one of those. Yeah, that does not work.
That's why I'm asking, because I don't know. I've never tried it. So.
All right. Do you know what these are?
All right. So this is a key making machine. So I'm gonna guess that you put. I guess this is how you would cut keys, and then this is how you would polish keys. Right.
You're somewhat close.
Okay. So is there a spot? So if you have a key.
Yeah.
That's what this is for. Like, you need to make a copy of said key. You can do that with this.
Kinda.
Kinda? Okay.
Okay. So you're thinking of this tool. So this tool is a key duplicator. You put a key blank in this chuck here, and you put your original key in this side.
Okay.
And you turn the machine on, and this, and I'll show you how this works.
Yeah.
And this copies the key. This machine, this is my favorite machine.
Okay.
So this has these cards.
Oh,
and this has a little gauge on it. Okay, so this is a key code machine.
Okay.
So if you have the correct cut code, you don't even need the other key. You can make a copy.
Okay.
And there's a couple ways that this machine can be used, and I'm going to demonstrate that, and it's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
Do you know what these are?
These are key measuring tools. So if you have a key, you can put it in, and it'll tell you. So it would be, I guess this is for that, right? So it would be you take your key out, you put it in, okay. 4, and you flip it around. It would be 5, like something like that.
Yes. Yeah, you're on the right track. It's a key decoder.
Oh, okay.
So that will tell you the correct cut depths to use that machine.
Oh, gotcha. Now. Okay. So with this machine and all the stuff you have here, you could take my Toyota keys and make a new one.
Yeah, if I had the correct blank, which I think I have Toyota blanks.
Really?
So if you need a copy, let me know.
Okay. And then this would be for width, right? Like you put the key in here, and this would tell you the width, or no?
No. So this is for different manufacturers and different types of locks. So if you see on here, this one says AM2. This is for AMC vehicles.
Okay.
This one is for Slage locks.
Okay.
This one, this kind of weird looking one is. This is for a specific type of key and lock that I don't really know.
Okay.
But yeah. Or like this one says, one of these says like GM on them. Oh, this is DM3, so this is probably Dodge. Yeah. Okay.
So, I know we talk about criminal. I'm going to tell you in my experience, they just use crowbars and Dremel tools.
Mm-hmm. Before we talk about copying keys and picking locks, I want to talk about bypasses.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I know a really cool bypass for master locks.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, what is it?
So you take a piece of a Coke can.
I was planning on doing that.
Okay, yeah, but I know of it. I want to see it though.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty easy. You do have to be careful. So what Ian is talking about is using an old soda can or a beer can or something to make a shim. And I was planning on doing that.
Yes.
That was like the first bypass I ever learned.
Okay.
When I was like 13 or 14.
Right.
And I used to do it all the time. I was like, oh, I'm so cool.
I saw it on the prison channel because that's how inmates would get into other inmate stuff, is they would do something like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You have to be careful though, because it's really easy to cut your hands on the sharp aluminum.
Yes, right.
So anyway, but I want to show you, this is a Master 175. This is a really common combination lock from Master Lock, and as you can see, it's locked. But the way the mechanism works in this lock, you can usually just unlock it like that.
What?
Yes. And this is locked. Like,
yes.
That's locked.
Yes. That is.
Yeah, man, that's locked.
Okay, here, let me show you how to do it. Okay, so, and that's the thing is, Master Lock 175s like this is a super insecure lock.
That's good to know, because that's what we have on our storage unit right now. I'm going to go fix that tomorrow. I'm going to fix that tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, so this is a terrible design. There's actually multiple ways to bypass this. You could get a little shim and stick it next to one of these code wheels, and you push down on the shackle and then push down on the tool, and it lifts the little thing that then releases the shackle. So the way the mechanism in here works, I wish I had one taken apart, is there's like a little spring-loaded bar thing in here that lifts and pulls the dog out of the way that holds the shackle in place. So, spring.
Yes.
So what you do is you push down on the shackle, and then you put tension with your fingers down here. And you can do this, like if it's locked on something, you can push it up against that. And then what you do is you give it a nice strike right here with the palm of your hand, and at the same time, release your fingers here.
Holy crap.
And what that does is that little latch in here. Bring the camera up a little bit. That little latch in here, when you smack it, pushing down on the shackle releases the tension on the dog. When you smack it, it moves the lock out of the way of the little mechanism.
It's wild.
And it allows the lock to pop free. So you try.
Yeah.
You push down on the shackle and stick your finger in here so that you don't just drop the lock. And then squeeze it with your fingers here and just like that.
Okay.
It works every time. Once you kind of get the hang of it, it works every time.
Finger in here. No.
You don't have to smack down, just smack directly on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Here, let me show you again. There you go.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
So, yeah, push it up into your hand like this, squeeze it here, smack it with your palm like this.
Okay.
Smack it good.
Right.
Smack it like you mean it.
Wonder if I'm. Ah, there we go.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, luckily I'm not doing it for time.
Yeah.
That is. I am 100% gonna go fix this tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, and so the thing about these Master 175s is that these are really common, and they're not cheap. It's like a $30 lock or a $25 lock. And so, and on the packaging, it'll say like, security level 5 or security level 6 or something. So Master really likes to say that this is a nice, tough lock, and it does have a hardened shackle, so it'd be really hard to cut this with like bolt cutters. But just being able to, now my hand hurts.
That's why I started using the other lock.
Yeah, just being able to pop it open just by striking it is...
That's insane.
No, I'm not going to be able to do it. I keep almost getting it. But yeah, you got the idea. You saw us do it a million times. Okay, so there's a guy on YouTube that does a lot of bypasses, and he sells lock picks and that kind of thing. His YouTube channel is McNally Official, and he has this gag where there's a lot of locks that you can strike to pop open. A lot of cheaper padlocks.
Really? Okay.
And there's a lot of other manufacturers that just buy master locks and rebrand them.
No way. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So he has this joke where he's like, "You are using a master lock 175. It can be opened with a master lock 175."
Right.
And it hits them together and they pop open.
Right. That's crazy, man.
I think it's the master lock 605 or 606, or maybe those are both the same, just a different size. Those are specifically designed for trailer hitches, and they look like a big rectangle.
Yes.
With a bolt.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? So those ones, not only can you smack them open like these ones, but you can also stick a pick in it and push down on the follower and pop them open.
Really?
Without even picking them. Yeah, they're super insecure. You should never buy those. But
so while we're here, what would you suggest for people who are trying to find locks that won't completely foul? You know, they take a little bit of time, or are not exactly easy to get into. Because man, what I just saw blew my mind. I've never seen anything like that before.
Well, it all depends on what you're securing and where it is. So you kind of you have different levels of security. So so like one of the most insecure locks, which I actually don't have right here, is a warded lock.
Okay.
And a warded lock is one of the oldest styles of padlocks that there is, and you can tell because the keys are kind of they're kind of long and have little cuts in them. Let's see, do I have one? I'm sure I have one somewhere. A warded lock is it's a really old style of lock that's been made since forever, and they have they're super easy to bypass. You can basically make a warded pick out of almost anything.
Okay.
A lot of people will say just stay away from those because they're so easy and so insecure.
Right.
But you have to kind of consider, they're also usually the cheapest lock that you can buy, cheapest padlock. So you have to consider what is the security level that you want. If you're just trying to keep your toddler out of the closet,
right,
a warded lock is going to be just fine because a toddler isn't going to know how to open a warded lock.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't put a warded lock on your gun safe because...
Or buy a Liberty safe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. We're not going to get into that. It all comes down to where you live, what you're trying to protect against, and all of that. So again, yes, you know what this is.
Yes.
This is a gun lock.
Yeah.
This is one of those cable gun locks that comes with all of your guns because of whatever stupid laws. These are usually really easy to defeat. I mean, it's just a little cable. Yeah. You could take bolt cutters and cut that easy.
Yeah.
So somebody who's stealing your gun, if they're able to steal your gun and you have it locked with this, this isn't going to prevent them from taking your gun.
Right.
However, this is going to prevent my 3-year-old from accidentally discharging my firearm.
Yes, 100. No, and that's absolutely fair.
So again, you have to figure out what level of security you want. If you are just trying to prevent your 3-year-old from messing with your firearms, this is perfectly safe. If you're trying to prevent a criminal from accessing your firearms, that is not safe.
Yes, right.
So for a storage unit where you have all these bins, a lot of people are coming in and out all the time. I guess it depends on what you have in the storage unit. If you have valuables in the storage unit, I would buy a higher quality lock, something with a guarded shackle, something with security pins.
Okay.
And generally, you're going to end up spending like $60 to $100 or more than $100 on a lock for one that is quality.
But see, here's my cop mentality, right?
Uh-huh.
I have a storage unit, and we just talked about it, but it's like, okay, fine. I'll just take a Dremel tool to the actual locking piece, like not to the lock itself, but to the thing that the lock is locked into. Then what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way everything's going to be super. It's going to be super secure, but at the same time, it's like you want to find that happy balance between not being able to smack a lock off a thing, but taking a little bit of time to,
Right. Well, and that's the other thing too is, if you have a tungsten bit, which is cheap nowadays, for your cordless drill, which is cheap nowadays.
Yes, right.
It's not that hard to drill out a nice lock.
Right.
But drilling out a lock takes time and it makes a lot of noise.
Right.
So it's potentially going to draw attention, which means that unless there's something really valuable in your storage unit, a criminal most likely isn't going to take those steps.
Right. Absolutely.
But the problem with locks like this is that the marketing is misleading. Is, like I said, it'll say, because Master Lock has their thing where their security level goes from 1 to 9 or something like that. And this is a 5 or a 6 on their security level scale. So if this is, So if this is a 5 or a 6, what does a 1 or 2 look like?
Right.
Like this is so easy to bypass that.
Yes.
Like I would probably put this more like a 2.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay. So when I think of Master Lock, this is what I think of right here. Is a number 5, is either a number 5 or one of those.
Yeah. So these are 2 of the most common Master Locks that take keys, and this is a number 5. This is the bigger one. This is a number 3. This is the more normal size one. Again, these have hardened shackles, so they're probably hard to cut. And I'm pretty sure they're like a 5 or a 6 on Master Lock scale. I would say that these are more secure than the 175.
Fair. Right.
I still think 5 or 6 is a little bit generous because they only have 4 pins. Okay. And they're pretty easy to pick. And so they don't have any security pins. And I'll explain security pins and I can show you some too. And then the tolerances are such that you can easily shim them.
Yes.
So.
Yes. AR versus AK.
Yeah. But again, these locks can serve a purpose. So
yes.
These locks are usually, I think they're only like $10 or $15, which is ridiculous that they're cheaper than this stupid thing.
Right. Right.
But they're usually like $10 or $15, and they're an okay lock to lock your shed or lock your garage or lock your trailer or something. Still, these can be usually bounced too.
But here's the other problem with locks like that.
Yeah.
If you get a set amount of keys, eventually one key is going to open everything, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So these keys do not have a master. So what you're talking about is like a master key.
Yes.
So these locks don't have a master.
Okay.
But what you can do is these ones don't have the code on the lock, but if you have the key, has a code on the key.
Right.
And so what happens is you put your key in, and the key has cuts in it like this. Right? And those cuts align these pins perfectly with that shear line, and that's what allows you to open the lock. With a comb attack, with that comb pick I'm talking about, there is enough extra space up here in this little channel where the spring is that it will fit both of these pins. So the comb looks kind of like this. Comb looks kind of like that. And so you put this in the lock, and these comb pieces push on the pins, and they push them up into this cavity up here where the springs are, pushing them above the shear line.
Okay, okay. I gotcha.
and then you're able to open the lock.
Yes, okay.
A nicer lock will have a tighter tolerance up here so that you can't do that.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is a transparent dimple lock. This is meant for practicing picking and that sort of thing. And as you can see, there are springs up here. And then we have our pins right there. And then if I push this one up, I don't know if you can see that, but there's two pins. There's one on top and one below. And so you set that shear line, like I said, and that's what allows you to
I think
open the lock.
I think I just figured it out. The tensioner bar. Okay. So you have the actual pick and then you have the tensioner bar. All you have to do is get it up a little bit in the tensioner bar, and so it'll get out of the way a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is exactly what you're doing. So what you do is with the tensioner, be using this one, as that goes, you can put it in several different, you can put it in the bottom, you can put it in the top, and then you take your pick, and there's different shaped picks for different things. And single pin picking is like what you see in the movies and what all the cool guys do.
Yes.
Where they go in and they feel and they go, oh, okay, and then they push up that one. And it's exactly what you're talking about, where you're putting tension on the core of the lock in order to kind of bind the pins.
Yes.
And you're pushing it up to that shear line. And once you push it up to that shear line, usually it'll make an audible click and the core will rotate just slightly.
Okay.
And then you find the next pin that's binding.
Yes.
So usually the way that I like to do it, there's different techniques and different opinions on how to do it. But what I do is I'll put a ton of tension on this tension bar and put my pick in there. And I'll feel the pins to see which one is binding. And like in this case, like all of them are binding. And so I just let up on tension a little bit.
Okay.
Until some of them free up. And then you can find the one that is binding first. And then you set that one. And then you just kind of methodically go through each one. You have to kind of vary the tension. And sometimes you'll get where you're putting enough tension on there that it's binding really tightly. And so you have to let up in order to set the pin. And then you have to push again.
Yeah, okay, because basically what's happening is you're putting a whole bunch of pressure like this, but you want to be able to find out that it's this one, so you're gonna kind of relax a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay.
And then, so you can single pin pick, but also there are like this. This is a snake rake. I don't know if you can really see that on the camera, but it's squiggly.
Yeah.
And so this is a rake. This is meant to put in there
just
wiggle it around back and forth.
Oh, okay.
And you can use it to zip, which is kind of like what a bump key is used for, which we can talk about that too. You have to be a little more, at least what I've found is you have to be a little lighter on the tension with a rake. You have to have a little more finesse. In my wallet, I carry one of these. It's a little credit card lock picking kit. And this one I have some other rakes in it that I like better, like a city rake.
Mm-hmm.
This is called a city rake.
Oh, okay. So wait, why don't you just start from...
So this one is called a city rake. I think because it looks like a little city. I don't know. That's just what it's called.
Ooh, I might have found a new hobby, Brad.
I like the city rake.
Holy crap.
So that was just raking.
Okay.
You just kind of put it in there. You vary the tension on here. Just that fast. So here.
I did it. I actually
You did it?
I didn't unlock it, but I saw a lock.
You saw how it kind of rotates?
Yeah. Okay. I did it.
You did it?
I did it.
Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome.
Right?
That is so cool. And it's really a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
So, well,
That's kind of scary.
That's also an easy lock.
Okay.
So,
dude, that is awesome.
yeah, right?
Okay. All right. Well, sorry, honey. I have a new hobby.
What's fun too is, like, you can do it just sitting on the couch watching TV.
Yes.
Or whatever on your lunch break. You know, people might look at you weird on your lunch break. But...
Not my lunch break.
Oh yeah, I guess not yours. Okay. Ouch. Got an ember on my finger. Okay. So, Ian picked his first lock.
Yes.
Okay.
That is awesome.
Now I'm going to show you how to decode one of these. So, Master Lock 175, we talked about you can just smack it open and briefly talked about how you can bypass it with a thin piece of metal. The upgraded version of the 175 is this. Well, actually, technically, it's not this. This is the like ultra version of the upgraded version of that. And oh, excuse me. Basically, Master Lock was like, okay, that mechanism is obviously garbage because people can just smack it open. But for some reason, they still sell this lock. I don't know. For the same price, you can buy the new and improved one. So the difference with this is, again, I wish I had this apart so I could show you. The mechanism is completely different. So you can't smack it open.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is, this shackle is, here, let's see. I'll show you. I think the code is this. Yes. Okay. The shackle is not, it doesn't spring open on its own like that one does.
Yeah, okay.
So, but this one you can decode without any special tools.
Okay, let me see if I know this.
Okay.
Let me see if I know this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tension on the shackle, and I'm going to wait until I can feel the tumbler, the number, kind of. I can feel some resistance in the number. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
You're on the right track, but you are wrong.
Okay.
The way that you do this lock is, I guess the way that this works is there are little gates on these wheels that the mechanism kind of sits down in. Let's adjust this camera a bit. And what happens is the way the tolerances are in this lock, you can feel the difference between the actual number and the fake number. So you have to put a lot of tension on the shackle.
Okay.
You pull on it to where the wheel basically doesn't move.
Okay.
And you can see how that moves just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Those are not the right numbers. So then you advance to the next ones.
Oh, okay.
And then you feel those. And you see how that's moving about the same as the other ones. Now, here. I can tell you that the first number is 0. So look at the difference between how far
the 0
moves.
Yeah, okay.
Compared to the 4.
Yeah.
See, so the 0 moves a lot more than the 4 because the 0 is a correct number. So, let's see if you can figure out the code. You have the first number correct, so you just have to work on the last 3. The right number will move a lot more than the wrong number.
3 zeros, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think the last one is?
Okay. All right. That definitely. So you could probably do that with that one too, right?
No.
Okay.
That's the thing is because of how the mechanisms are completely different. So if you put pressure on this shackle, these dials just move. They don't lock up like that.
Okay. So, okay. All right. I'm off camera, but So basically, yeah. So we got 0 moves, 0 moves, 0 moves, and then we're gonna go to 0. That's crazy.
So you can actually decode the 175 too, but you have to have a tool.
Oh, okay, okay.
And when I say tool, I mean just a thin piece of metal that will fit between one of the code wheels to where you can feel the gates.
Okay.
And then you just rotate it and you feel the gate how deep it is.
Okay.
And then you set it to the correct combination. But why would you do that when you can just smack it open?
You're right, yeah.
Okay, so now that you know how to do it, we don't need that door. The way that you change the combination on this. So on that one, to change the combination, there's like a little key.
Yeah.
This one, you pull up on the shackle, you rotate it to the 1 position.
Okay.
Push down on the shackle, and you rotate it to the 2. And then you set your combination. So I'm not going to look at it.
Okay.
You're not going to look at it.
Okay.
And I'm just going to scramble it. And then you put it to the 1. Lock it. Okay, let's see if we can figure out this new combination. Okay. Neither of us know the combination.
Okay.
But I showed you how to do it. So.
Yep.
There you go.
Holy crap. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's
That
easier,
is really cool.
easier
actually.
than you expected.
Yeah,
huh?
very much so. Okay, now it's your turn. All right.
Well, I know what the combination is.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. Wasn't it, it was like, it's like 4, 5, 7, 6 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe not. 4, 5, oh, maybe a 6, 7. What are the odds of that? 4, 5, 6,
4,
7.
5, 6, 7. There we go.
That was totally random too. Okay, so then
What's the password? Password 1, 2, 3.
wasn't it Spaceballs?
Spaceballs, yes.
Yeah. Oh, same as my luggage. Okay. Scramble it. Okay, new combination. It's not 4, 5, 6, 7. What are the odds of that? I feel like that's... Oops.
I'm totally going on Amazon to buy a lockpick kit.
Actually, I've got a better one to recommend to you.
Okay.
Okay, I think that 2 might be right. Okay, I think this is 0, so 2's not right. There we go.
Nice.
0, 2, 3, 4.
0, 2, 3, 4. What are the odds of that?
Well, at least it's not 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So, with some practice, you could decode this.
Really quickly, actually, yeah.
In like 15 seconds or so. Combination padlocks. Most of the time they suck. However, this is a.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
It's addicting, right?
It is. That is awesome.
Yeah, this.
All right.
I think it's an 875 or 975, but the beefy version.
Dude,
I don't remember
awesome.
the actual model of this. This is definitely a 175.
All right.
175. Okay, so absolute garbage.
Something.
This one is better, however, okay, pretty easy to decode. I want to talk about something that a lot of people don't know about and don't think about, and that is key duplication. So, obviously, if I got a hold of, let's say this was your house key, and I'm okay to show this on camera because I have no idea what this key goes to. So, let's say this is your house key. Of course, Ian, if I stole this house key from you, I could come use this machine and make a copy of it. Or I could use my key decoder, right? And figure out the code and then cut a copy with that machine. But I don't have to steal this key from you. All I need is a photograph.
Really?
Yes. So
Okay.
that's something that people don't realize. And this is a huge security risk.
Okay.
People they'll get a new house and they'll be like, you know, they keep like, oh, we got the keys to the house. Post it all over social media for everybody to see. That is dangerous. So let me show you how we do that. And I am going to use this key. Because I forgot it was
Is that the
there.
key to the Enclave bunker?
Maybe. So, this is a quick set key. This is a really common.
Yes, I have that for my house, and yeah.
This is like the most
Yes.
common key that there is. So, you want to grab the camera real quick? Okay, so let's say this is your house key, and you've got it on your key ring, and you lay your keys on the table, right? And I come out with my cell phone, and I go, oh, Ian has a nice house. He's probably got nice things in there. So, let me turn on the flash. So I come up and I go, I don't even touch the key. It's still there where it was left. And then I need to send it to myself real quick. Okay, so I took the picture of that key. I've transferred that photograph to my computer, and I have it open in a photo editing software. This is GIMP. You could use Photoshop or whatever as well. But that's the picture I took. Now, there is a really cool guy who is a professional, I don't know what you would call it. He's a entry specialist, I guess you could say. His whole business is companies hire him to find the security flaws in their buildings and stuff, and he goes by the moniker Deviant Olem online. And he created a set of image files that have the proper measurements to decode keys with just a photograph. So what I'm going to do is, and I've downloaded them on this computer, I am going to flip this. Like that. And I'm going to open wherever I saved them. Right here. So this is a quick set key. So we need the quick set measuring guide. So this bottom line goes to the bottom of the key. This top line goes to the top of the key. Just almost like that. Okay, so now it might be a little bit hard to see, but we have lines with numbers on it. We have 1, 2, 3, for 5 cuts, which is pretty normal for one of these quick set locks. And the code is, we have a 44154. 44154.
I'm not gonna remember that. I'm terrible with numbers.
Well, that's okay.
44154.
Whoops. We'll keep it right here. So 44154. Here is a quick set blank. You can see there's no cuts in this key. That's where this fancy machine comes in handy. This guy goes right here. And then we need the proper card.
Excuse me. Can you cut a key well enough by eye? Is that something that's a real thing? Like if you could look at it and be like, okay, I know that it's, you know what I mean? Because
Can I or can people?
can people?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So there's a technique called impressioning, where you basically take a blank, and let's say that you have a lock that you don't have a key for. What they do is they'll take a blank and they will file it till it's a knife edge, and then they'll usually use a lighter to soot it up,
Yes.
and then they'll stick it in the lock and twist it around, and then pull it out and use a file to file it by hand.
Okay.
Now, you can, if you know the cut code, you can look up like, okay, so a number 2 cut for a quick set is, so many thousandths of an inch. You could manually do that with a file. That takes a lot of
Right.
very meticulous filing and a lot of technique that I don't personally have.
Right.
But it is possible, and people do it. We've got our blank in the chuck here. We've got our correct card. Now I got to remember what I said that code was.
1722.
Yeah, totally. Let me look again real quick. 44154.
4154.
44154. Okay, so our cut code was 44154. Plug this guy in. This is a really simple machine. With this card, it makes it really easy. So just turn the machine on. And it spins up our cutter. And we go to our first cut. So see, we've got cuts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one only has 5 cuts.
Okay.
We start here, and you see it has a couple deals there. We go straight to the center, and then what did I say? First cut was 44154.
4415.
So then this one, as I turn this, it pushes the key into the blade, and then you can see that this goes up here. We go to 4. Okay, then we back off. Go to cut number 2. Said 44.
4451.
4415.
441.
4. Go to 3. 441. So this is a 1 cut. This is a 5. 44154. Now this key should be, it's a little bit rough after being cut, but this key should be identical to the key that Ian left on the counter. It's the first time I picked it up. Let's see.
Oh my goodness, it is. Wow. Okay.
That is identical.
Yes. Look at that.
And that's how you copy a key from a photograph.
No way.
So, never ever, and that key doesn't go to anything anymore. So, you can see this key. That is why you don't just show a key out there. There's also services too. So here's the thing: is this machine is not cheap. This machine, I think they're like $1,500 or something. So it's not cheap. However, there are services where you can take a photo of a key and send it off to a locksmith, and they'll make you a key for like $10. So you don't necessarily have to have this machine, but that's how it's done. This is a shove knife, and you can buy these. However, I made this out of a putty knife. You can see it says Ace Hardware on there. But this is used to push on this part of the door mechanism. Depending on how the door is hung, you can either push on it this way, allowing the door to open, or this way, like this. Now, you'll notice there's this little plunger thing here. If your door is hung correctly and it has this little plunger thing, this shove knife will not work. So, if your door is hung correctly, this little plunger will push in, and you can't depress that part.
I need to check my doors.
You do. Everybody should check their doors. Because oftentimes they'll see like, oh, I've got the little safety. But if your door isn't hung correctly and that is all the way out, then that will happen. Now,
okay,
this door is kind of sort of hung correctly. So right now, if I tried to use this, I can't because that little tiny plunger part is depressed. However, on this door, if you push really hard on it, oops, well, except I keep losing it, you can push in on it. So that's the other thing too, is even though you might look at your door and say, oh, that's hung correctly because it's depressing that little thing and my shove knife won't grab that. If you push in on the door, listen real close. Here, bring the camera close, like right down here, and listen close when I push on the door. You hear that click? That's that little plunger going into, oops, the door. And now I can just open it. The other thing is you can
1%.
Okay. Well, we're not going to be able to see it, but there's little scratch marks on here that the shove knife usually leaves.
Yes. So, unless you are picking a lock, there will be signs of forced entry, period. And any cop worth his salt will look at that and, you know, go based on that.
Not necessarily.
Really?
Yes. So, with the shove knife, yes. Most of the time there will be scratches.
Right.
And a professionally made shove knife won't leave as deep as scratches as this homemade one.
Okay.
Because they're usually a little better manufactured than me and my Dremel. A pick will leave marks.
Okay.
Especially somebody who is like frantically picking and they don't really know what they're doing and they're going like this and stuff. They might leave scratches on the outside. There's also, you can disassemble the lock and do forensic analysis on the inside of the lock and you can see if it's been picked or not. But yeah.
Hey, so
With that concludes episode 1. This is going to be kind of an ongoing series. I learned a lot. I learned stuff that I never thought I'd learn, and I realized that I might have a nick for lockpicking.
Yeah, and give us suggestions of what else you want to see. I know how to do a lot of this stuff. There's also a lot of it that I don't know how to do. So I'm always up to learning this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Always up for a challenge. And remember, we only use our newfound skills and our skills for good, right?
Yep, yep. Remember that this stuff is dangerous information, but it is important that it is used wisely. And also use this information to defend your own home and your own belongings against these sort of attacks.
I just learned it. I'm going to fix it. So, hey guys, thanks for watching this episode. We will see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. And never buy a Master Lock 175.
Don't do it.